Do you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Listen, big deal. You got another problem. Women always figure out the truth. Always.
This is so nuts. I mean, listen to what you're saying. It's paranoid delusion. It's really sad. It's pathetic.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
It is the Al Travis Show. I'm Al Travis, and I appreciate you being here. We're in a interesting point on the program. As of yesterday, if you've been listening along, we found out we could get Jim O'Neill on. He is the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services. They are going to be in the state today checking out, fact-finding is I believe what they're calling it, fact-finding what's going on here in our Department of Human Services, right? I mean, that's where the fraud's at, and so they're coming to take a look. I'll give you his credentials as I'm sitting, if you're watching on the YouTube. We're looking at his chair, and he will be here momentarily as people literally just called me and said, we're on the way. Jim O'Neill was sworn in as Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services by Secretary Robert Kennedy, Jr., decades of experience with healthcare, technology, public service. Listen to what this guy's going to oversee. He is going to be overseeing an agency including National Institutes of Health, U.S. Food and Drug Administration, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and the Administration of Child and Family Services and other things. Obviously, he doesn't spend a lot of time watching sports. I have a hard enough time getting my lawn mowed during the summer, let alone having all of this stuff. I'm seriously in a bit of a stall mode waiting for Jim O'Neill, Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, to come on. Here are the things I'm hoping to talk to him about, because it's all happening so quickly here. We, of course, know about the fraud. I'll ask him about some specifics that has happened here in Minnesota. I will also ask him about the freezing the funds. We've already frozen some programs, said you're not getting your money. I believe February 1st, the president has now said he's going to freeze all money coming into the state of Minnesota because it is we have sanctuary cities here. Minnesota's not, quote unquote, a sanctuary state, but our biggest cities have said they're sanctuary cities. And can they do that? How does that work? Obviously, there's lawsuits going on all over the place saying you can't do this, or can you? We're going to find out a lot. I would like to find out, and we've got him here. I appreciate him coming in. Deputy Secretary, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to talk to you.
Just so you know, I already gave him your huge list of things you're in charge of. Quite impressive. Obviously, you don't watch a lot of sports if you're in charge of National Institutes of Health, Food and Drug, Centers of Disease Control, you have no social life. I would just throw that out, I presume.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you're coming to Minnesota. I say it's because you want to check it out for yourself, what's going on here. You were in Minnesota for what, sir? From, I presume, Mr. Kennedy told you to come.
Yes, the whole Trump administration is alarmed by the fraud in Minnesota. And my department has many programs that look like the state officials are allowing it to be diverted to fraud. Medicaid, Medicare, childcare, welfare, all of them are in my department. All of them are large amounts of money. It looks like a lot of it is going to fraud, and I'm here to figure out what's going on and try to get the state officials to take accountability and stop the fraud.
All right, let me ask you this, sir, and again, I believe, I don't know, how long have you been with this? I know you did some stuff, I believe, back with the Bush administration. How long have you been working? When were you sworn in? I should probably know that.
Beginning of June.
All right, so it's only been 5-6 months. So this is not a hit on you whatsoever. But if you've been, let's say, a radio announcer in this state for the last 5 years, and if you've been anybody in the state official in the last 10, I would give you 10, we've been talking about fraud. This isn't new to us in Minnesota. It seems to be new to the federal government. Maybe, is there any chance your predecessors knew about this and they didn't care? Because I'm going to ask you some specifics about programs we have that evidently the federal government approved of. Is it new? The idea there's fraud here?
I don't think it's new. I think our Inspector General had found some fraud here in May that they started talking about. Also, you talked about the previous administration. They actually put in rules, federal rules that made it harder for states to fight fraud, limited their ability to ask for attendance records more than once a year, things like that. We're taking out those rules. We're turning the rules back to being pro fighting fraud. But that was something that they did back then.
Okay. See, and here is an example I will use, as I understand it, here in Minnesota, that had to be approved by somebody in the Biden administration. Our fine state of Minnesota wanted to help kids with autism. And we Minnesotans, we want to help children. It's in our DNA, sir. And
Sure.
so were You Bet. And I think the first year, and I'm going to say it's 2020, might have been 2022, $3 million. We set it aside. And they get this approved by the federal government. And this money is set up that you don't have to have autism to go to the class. You don't have to have a doctor's note saying you have autism. The person running the autism clinic does not have to have a degree in teaching, a medical degree, have no legitimate way of helping a person with autism. And there was no out. No 1 year later did you help little Johnny get over his autism and now he's fixed. No end goal. And it was approved by somebody, and I'm sitting there thinking, that's the stupidest thing ever. My barber gets checked her shop once a year to make sure the combs are in the blue glue. So we set it up, and within 2 years, it's over $100 million. Sir, how was that approved by anybody? Let's say Minnesota just wanted to hand the money out. Why did the federal government give it to them if there was no markers, no way of proving what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we administer a lot of big federal programs, most of which are run by state governments.
Yes.
And we send a lot of money to states, normally without asking for receipts, without a huge amount of proactive accountability. We've changed that, especially in the last month. We've started asking for receipts. Mm-hmm. Minnesota sued us when we asked for receipts for childcare. And I don't know what they're trying to hide. I don't know why they don't want to eagerly send us receipts, but they sued us in court and said, no, we don't want to send receipts. We want to just get the money. That's a little sus.
A little? Okay, Deputy Secretary, a little sus. The SNAP program is an example.
Yes.
The federal government sends it in. The state of Minnesota, it meets us the federal government halfway to do the work.
Right.
Fine. How is it there any way in the world the state of Minnesota, which, by the way, we're in the lawsuit to say we aren't going to send the SNAP number, how is that even possible they can? Will you win that lawsuit? I mean, I don't understand why we wouldn't want to know if somebody's getting it in Iowa and Minnesota at the same time. Why would we not want to cross-reference?
Well, SNAP's not in my department, but it's probably very similar. Childcare is the one where they sued and said, we don't want to send receipts. And by the way, the receipt, looking at the receipts, we would look at the receipts and send back the money. It only delayed about a day. It was not we're not doing even, forensics. We're just looking at it. Oh yeah, that looks like a receipt. We were not slowing it down. But even that was too much accountability for them.
Okay, well, let me ask you a couple things. The latest news here in the state is that you have paused some payments for some programs, and they're, of course, suing you for that. Are you able to pause do you know if legally you can pull that off, or because a majority of it are minorities, now you're being racist? I mean, is the federal government allowed to say, you're giving us no receipts, you don't get any money?
Yeah, our authorities vary by each program that we administer, but in general, we do have some powers to pause programs and to demand receipts, and we are using those powers as much as we can. We may be able to claw back some fraudulently spent money back from the state from the last 6 months, a lot of money. And we're also being more cautious going forward about spending money, making sure that we've guaranteed that it's not going to fraud before it goes out the door. And we're also prosecuting bad actors. Now, prosecuting bad actors is not going to get all the money back. Some are going to be very low level, small dollars, but we're doing all of those things.
And between you and I'm going to go to break. I hope they told you I needed a 2-minute break from your time, and you'll hear some wonderful music on your end. You're going to love it. Don't worry about it. But on the other side, I want to ask about accountability. I understand. I think I'm a pragmatist. We're not going to get the billions of dollars back. All of it isn't going to get back. You can sell the used Ferrari for whatever you can sell it for, and maybe you'll make some of your money back. I get it. The big actors here in Minnesota feeding our futures as an example. I think we have 8 now, that are big dogs that are going to go to jail. Okay, got it. Is there any accountability literally with the people who worked for Al? I'd like to talk about that on the other side if we can. Is that good by you?
That sounds good.
All right, I've got him. Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, Jim O'Neill. More right after this on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol. And we...
And, sir, you are still on YouTube, sir. Sir, yeah. you are still on YouTube, just so remember.
Okay,
thank you.
We help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
Well, I know him now. I'm excited to have him on. He is Jim O'Neill, Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services. He is in town for the day at least, but he's going to be here for a while if he wants to look at all the fraud, checking out the fraud here in the state of Minnesota. You're buying a place? You're going to be here for a while, sir? You're not getting this done in a day. What's your plan? Is it a day in, day out?
Just today, but I'll be back.
All right, fair enough. Here's my question for you, and I get it. We've had some people go to jail now for some of the huge fraud that we've seen. But we have some issues in the state of Minnesota, and I'm hoping the federal government will help us out on this. I presume you're probably going to read the OLA report, the Office of Legislative OLA, Office of Legislative Auditor. They come out nonpartisan and they tell us where things are wrong. Last week they came out and basically had two interesting points. One was they were asking DHS to show them the paperwork, and they found many of those folks wrote the paperwork afterwards and then post-dated it for them. The OLA said, I don't think that's probably illegal in Minnesota. Sir, I got to imagine that there's a federal law somewhere that says you can't BS this paperwork after it's done. Another guy evidently wrote a $672,000 grant check from your guys' money to some company. Didn't exactly say what it was for. And 3 days later, he was working for the company as a consultant. Evidently, this isn't wrong in the state of Minnesota, sir. I don't know why we can be a state for as long as we have been, and we haven't figured this stuff out yet, but are there federal laws for this? Will there be people that maybe worked for Al in the long run who became bad actors who could see jail time, or is this just going to be the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit, the guy who took $2 million because he's an idiot, and he goes to jail?
There's laws against fraud, and we're going to prosecute the major people that are guilty of fraud. Absolutely. There's going to be jail time. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, as this guy here at this radio station, and we've been doing this for 5 years, we've seen, I don't believe anyone even get a strongly worded letter in their personnel file so far with this administration saying, don't you know how to do your job? We've seen none of that. And I think, to be quite frank, a lot of Minnesotans are thinking there's no end game to this. This is just who's going to get by with it, who's going to resign, we'll let them go away and take their spoils. Are you telling me we're going to go after this and go after it hard? And I know you're not the lawyer in all this, you're just looking for it.
Well, we already have inspectors looking, but we've strongly worded letters are just the beginning. So Mehmet Oz has sent 2 strongly worded letters already to the governor about Medicaid. I sent a strongly worded letter to the governor about child care. Looking at these letters, he dropped out of re-election. Yep. And we're following up those letters with the action that we promised, which is demanding receipts and accountability and pausing money until we know it's not going to fraud.
And then what do you do is how, between Robert Kennedy Jr. and the president and yourself, how steely backbone are you? Because as soon as the money stops, sir, you know as well as I do, the paper here in this city, the press in the Twin Cities are going to run the first story of some poor woman who couldn't feed her child yesterday. We had no food because of mean Donald Trump. Are we willing to hold off? It makes sense to me. You got to stop until you figure out where the money's going. I got it. But are you guys willing to hold up to all that bad press that's going to come our way?
We're not concerned about press. We're concerned about money that taxpayers spent and Congress appropriated going to the right people, not the wrong people. And that means having good accountability in place so it does go to the right people on time when they need it, and not to people doing fraud.
Good. I'm asking in a general sense because I surely do not want you to tell me where you're going to go today, because it'll be packed with a lot of knuckleheads with signs and yelling and whistles. Can I ask how big a group from Human Service HHS is coming to the state of Minnesota? Is it auditors that are coming, financial guys? What does it look like to you? You're here to get a preliminary, I get it. Who do you talk to find, what is your plan? How do we bust this down?
Well, for today, I brought our administrator of CMS, Dr. Mehmet Oz. I brought our general counsel, Mike Stewart. I brought our associate deputy secretary, Wes Cuthbert. And I brought a lot of agents from our Office of Inspector General. And we're going to have other parts of HHS here from the Administration of Children and Families soon. And as we said, we've already been writing letters and making phone calls and asking questions and looking for receipts. So being on the ground here is a significant part of it. We're going to be, talking to legislators, talking to witnesses. It's good to do that in person, but we are going to, when we are back home tomorrow, we're going to still be, demanding receipts.
All right. Say hi to Dr. Oz for me. He was on about 10 days ago. I like the guy.
Yeah, I will.
I heard today that the Treasury Secretary was coming to town, and he could not get the governor to give him police protection while he was at the Capitol. I'm concerned for you. Are you taking care of, who takes care of Jim O'Neill and the rest of you as you're wandering the halls of, I presume, our DHS department? Yes,
I have protective agents.
Okay, fair enough. When U.S. Attorney Thompson came out and said he believes there's about $9 billion in fraud just in the state of Minnesota. Can I ask you, with all frankness, sir, do you think that's a good number? Because the paper here wants to say they can't even find $1 billion. It's not going to be. Can you give me your best guess what kind of numbers we're talking about?
Well, in childcare alone, the program in Minnesota that is federal is $185 million. There's a lot of signs that a lot of that is going to fraud. Medicaid is also a lot of money. Dr. Oz estimates a significant part of Medicaid is going to fraud. We don't have precise numbers yet. It's definitely significant enough that doing accountability, demanding receipts, demanding corrective action plans is completely reasonable, and we're insisting on all those things.
All right, sir, I have to go. I promised your people I'd have you out and plenty of time to get to your next deal. I thank you for coming on, and you are welcome to come on, just like I told Dr. Oz, anytime as you're doing this investigation from Washington, from here in the state. I thank you for doing this. I really do, sir.
I really appreciate being able to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, Jim O'Neill, on The Al Travis Show.